Hi, Craig.
Hi, Greg.
Hi, Craig.
Hello, and we are live. Welcome back to the Paddock. Thank you for joining in. Today, we're going to be talking about curses and conspiracies theories. But before we get into it, let me introduce you to some of the hosts. So we have Hannah, myself, Rachel, Ito, and Drea. And let's also introduce a new Paddock girly joining us today. I'm going to pass it over to Sandra.
Hi, hello. My name's Sandra. I'm based in Nevada. I am currently undecided on a favorite team, but my favorite driver is Checo.
And today we're going to go ahead and get started with one of our well-known topics, the Bahrain curse. It has only been a thing since 2017, but in the last 6 seasons, every driver who has won the opening race has not just failed to secure the title, but has placed second. Sebastian Vettel in 2017 and 2018, Valtteri Bottas in 2019 and 2020, Lewis Hamilton in 2021, and most recently, Charles Leclerc in 2022. With Max Verstappen winning in 2023 at Bahrain, will the curse remain or cease to exist? Therefore, if we believe this pattern despite Verstappen's Bahrain win, the season is far from over.
Absolutely. And I think that most of us could probably agree that if anyone's going to break the Bahrain curse, it's going to be Max Verstappen. What I'm curious about, though, is do any of the drivers and teams believe in this curse? I mean, we saw how Charles didn't do his final lap in quali at Bahrain, and Ferrari said it was a strategic decision. Could that be because of the Bahrain curse, or was it just Ferrari being Ferrari and having a weird strategy? Of course, the curse is only that whoever gets P1 in Bahrain goes on to place second in the World Drivers' Championship. So the World Drivers' Champion could be anyone. Maybe Alonso getting his third WDC. But, with 19 races left in the season, it's far from over. So will we see Max break the curse and get his third World Drivers' Championship? Or will the curse hold and there will be a new champion this season?
Another conspiracy that has recently entered the paddock is Taylor Swift is now trying to be connected to our F1 world. She is being connected to our favorite driver, Fernando Alonso. He has been killing it in this game. He recently got on TikTok, and they are supposing that because he recently broke up with his girlfriend and they have, departed amicably, Taylor, we're still unsure on if she actually broke up with Joe. That one's still jury's out. But supposedly her and Joe broke up and they're both single. How they got connected, she did play for F1 in 2016 whenever they were at the USGP. So maybe they met there, maybe they didn't. They're also being little tidbits here and there that maybe style was about Fernando. We don't know. But it has been a lot of fun. This rumor did start from a Spanish magazine that connected the two, and it's just rolled from there. It has been super entertaining to watch all of the TikToks roll in connecting the two and how far everyone will go to research this. But for now, it's all just rumor.
Yeah, and I really like that TikTok that he posted this morning with Karma playing in the I feel like hilarious. And of course, we do have it on pretty good authority that the rumors aren't true since Lando said it wasn't real during one of Max's streams the other day. And, considering how chaotic the F1 schedule is, along with Taylor being on tour for the Eras Tour, it's a little chaotic. Who knows how they would even have time to get together. But like Drea said, it's brought up some pretty entertaining content and some pretty good memes for the spring break.
Yeah, and then just to circle back onto some of the curses, the infamous Red Bull second seat. There's been just a number of young drivers groomed for F1 is staggering, but they got an issue too. One of their young drivers has been too good for the rest of his teammates, Max Verstappen, especially when a young driver from the academy does not perform up to the expected level of Red Bull. They get the pink slip, out they go. We have a number of drivers who can attest to that. Alex Albon once quoted, "I didn't get to be that guy, the one who forgot about. I wanted people to see me for what I had done in F1 in my first 2 years. I just didn't feel like I was getting a fair shake from the community. I didn't want anyone's pity, and it wasn't like that at all. I want to be Alex Albon, the F1 driver, and no one else." Pierre Gasly, another one. "I was working my butt off every day trying to get results for the team, but I was not being given all the tools I needed to succeed. I would try to offer solutions, but my voice just wasn't being heard. Or it would take weeks to see changes, only for another reason to come up. I was never going to be fit in that seat, and it was never going to work for me. And both of them stated, I'm not the type of person to start stuff in the media because I am truly grateful for my time at Red Bull, for any chance, as well as for anything I've done in my career for myself and for my team. I really wanted to tell my truth, and that's the truth. Antoine and them both had a really great relationship with each other. They shared a path, this journey. When they left a part of themselves also with them, which is rough, but it gives them the opportunity to actually be themselves instead of being that second seat Red Bull person.
The conspiracy now, along with that, is now that Daniel is the third driver in the reserve seat, are they prepping him to take over Checo's position to continue the curse?
I mean, especially because Horner, I think it was in Australia that he said Daniel's like 10 minutes away from stepping into a car. So maybe it is true. Maybe as soon as Checo and Max butt heads one more time, Checo's out. Who knows? Because we all know how Max and Daniel gel, but not necessarily Max and Checo see Brazil 2022.
Along with that, though, will Daniel want to play second fiddle to Max? Because it seems like he's not really about that. That's why he left in the first place. So I think it's going to be a very interesting season over in the Red Bull garage.
Yeah, and recently, Checo's tweets about wanting to be a champion have been getting deleted and reposted without the champion part. Not really about the curse, but it is a thought as to, are they holding back? Is it just Verstappen that they care about? What about the rest? Now, we're just going to go ahead and pass it over to talk about a little bit more of a curse, Monaco curse.
Yeah, I mean, Monaco curse, is it real? What does it even mean? Honestly, if you ask me, and probably Charles Leclerc as well, it sure does seem real. But what is it? It's basically the fact that no Monegasque driver, aka Charles Leclerc, because he's only ever been the only Monegasque driver, has never won in Monaco. But you might now say that, yes, other drivers haven't won their home race, it's not a big deal, etc. However, Charles Leclerc, his Monaco streak, if you will, has been marred by very weird incidents and a lot of DNFs. And the fact of the matter is that if he's raced in Monaco, be it F2 or F1, he's never won. And in F2, back in 2017, he was leading the championship at that point. He was basically a surefire win, but then, even though he claimed pole, he had a suspension failure during the race in DNF. And then in the sprint race, because as you guys know, F2 usually has a feature race and a sprint race in the same weekend. In the sprint race, he once again DNF'd thanks to an electrical issue. 2 DNFs one weekend at your home race? Bad luck, or what is it? But looking at F1 now, I mean, 2018, yes, he was in a Sauber. Yes, it was his rookie season. But still, in Q1, he crashed into the back of Brendan Hartley's Toro Rosso, which caused some issues with the car. They were thankfully able to fix it, but still, he couldn't get anywhere after that. Like, he couldn't get up to speed. Granted, it was a Sauber. But when we're looking at 2019, you think with a Ferrari, with a faster car, he would have better luck. Yeah, well, no, not really. Especially because, once again, Ferrari being Ferrari, they had a bad strategy call during qualifying, and he ended up starting P15 on the race, and then ending in the wall. And then 2020, COVID, no Monaco. And you think 2021 would be the year, especially since he clinched P1 for the first time. But Formation Lap happened, and he basically DNF'd during that because of the driver shaft failure. So yay. And then we had last year which was basically just a comedy of errors, Ferrari being Ferrari again, with the rain, because as we will explain in later episodes, especially with rain, your tire strategy is super important because rain and dry conditions require different tires. But basically, because of that very wet yet somewhat dry condition, Ferrari made a confusing pit stop, and that caused Charles, who was leading the race at that point, having started in pole position, he got dropped down to 4, which he stayed at the rest of the race. Well, who knows? Maybe the curse will stick this year. Maybe it won't. Maybe because he's single now and he's never been single during a Monaco Grand Prix before, he will actually win it. But who knows? I guess we'll have to wait until May 28th to find out. And I mean, I just know I will definitely light my Charles candle and everything in the hopes of it not being a loss again.
And if he breaks the Monaco curse, does that mean that he could potentially get his WDC? Is the Monaco curse what is also keeping him from becoming World Drivers' Champion? All I know is someone needs to get that boy an egg cleanse or something and get that curse removed.
Amen. And especially since Ferrari's strategy calls last year and then his breakup with his girlfriend, everyone was like, Charles villain era now. But that hasn't happened yet. So do we need Charles Leclerc in his villain era to win Monaco? Will he enter his villain era this season? Will he not? Who knows?
I would also like to point out, I don't know how far this Monaco curse goes, but Charles has not won in Italy since 2019, right after Antoine passed. He has shared a podium last year in 2022 with Max and George, but he has not podiumed at all in Imola. The curse definitely extends towards France because the highest he has ever finished there is 3rd in 2019. So I can see why Ferrari has a long-standing contract with him because his 2019 season was phenomenal. But if he expects to actually win the World Drivers' Championship, Ferrari needs to get out of their own way because their strategist needs to take a reconsideration of how they're doing things. Either he needs to enter his reputation era and just say, it's fine, I can do this myself. Or he needs to be like Carlos and be a driver and a strategist. Tell Ferrari, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to come into the pits, and take his own interest in his own hands.
I mean, is Xavi the one keeping the curse on him? When did he come into the picture?
I mean, also with the whole first race curse, some say that Nico Rosberg was the cause of the first race curse because he was the last person to win first race and then go on to WDC. So maybe Nico Rosberg, being the witch that he is, we'll get into that in a later episode, but just maybe he conspired with Xavi and they're keeping the curse alive.
And Nico was on the grid in Bahrain this year for the first time in a while. So was he there to just reinforce the curse, make sure it stayed strong? Who knows?
Yeah. And then do you really think we would forget about our George Russell with the last and final curse?
So this is more of a conspiracy than a curse, but I really wanted to get into it. So in the last race of the 2020 season, Lewis Hamilton ended up testing positive for COVID-19. Many wondered who would step up in Hamilton's place. Mercedes eventually turned to their partner Team Williams Racing to release George Russell to drive in Hamilton's car. Everything appeared to be lining up for George Russell to win the Grand Prix. The opening lap saw Verstappen and Leclerc DNF. An incident between Leclerc and Sergio Perez would send the Racing Point driver into 28th place, but George Russell dodged the chaos and became the race leader for the majority of the race. In lap 63, George Russell's number, both Mercedes cars double stacked in the pits for a tire change under a safety car. The Mercedes pit crew would then make the mistake of fitting the tires meant for Bottas onto Russell's car, letting Bottas leave with the tires he arrived on. Toto Wolff later explained the tire mishap as a radio failure. The mistakes would be fixed at the cost of both Mercedes drivers dropping in place. George climbed back to second place on pace to overtake the race leader, but a tire puncture in the last few hours and a call from the Mercedes team for the Brit to box denied Russell his podium. Sergio Perez, who started the race from P20, drove his way to a P1 finish and gained his first win in his F1 career. So what's the conspiracy? The conspiracy? Mercedes sabotaged Russell's race. Russell made his race look easy, perhaps too easy for Mercedes' liking. A driver who hadn't scored any points in F1 before or placed above P10 suddenly manages to be a race leader. If someone else wins in Hamilton's car, would that put into question his talents? Maybe it's the car and not the driver who wins. Bottas had been with the team for 6 years, but couldn't keep up with the reserve driver. What does that say about his performance? It's also hard to imagine a team who won the Constructors' Championship 7 times in a row messing up this badly. But as George Russell says, when it's not your day, it's not your day.
And then just to close it out, we have 2 fun facts that we would like to do. One is going to be the driver of the week. Over to Drea.
Our driver of the week is going to be none other than Alonso. I mean, him coming in clutch with all of the drama going on TikTok and then posting a TikTok with Taylor's song. Iconic. And then putting in the caption, feeling 33, which is, as we all know, she's that old. But the fact that he knows, he is probably the oldest driver on the grid, and he knows how to get into the social media world more than most of the others. Pierre, where are you at? So, as he says, he is on the dark side. If only Charles could also take in that mindset. We will now go on to a fun fact. Here's Hanna.
Yes, thank you. So our fun fact is from the most consecutive starts to the most tragic crashes. The world of F1 is rich in history and astonishing in achievements. It is one of the best sports in the world to be there for a race day too. So thank you for joining us in the paddock, and we'll see you at next race.
See ya, Craig.
Bye, Craig.
Bye, Craig.
Later, Craig.
Bye, Craig.
Bye, Craig.